Well, welcome back to my channel. Today's gonna be super fun. I'm gonna be showing you guys all my tomato seeds, and how I have them organized here is from white all the way down to black. And the top row is gonna be all my slicers, and then bottom row is gonna be cherry tomatoes in saladette size. This is seriously like one of my favorite tomatoes. But I can't wait to take you guys on this tomato journey, so let's jump right in. So maybe get yourselves a cup of coffee or some hot tea and sit back and just get comfortable. So as you can see, I have accumulated quite a collection over the years. Starting with my only white tomato is this great white. And this white tomato did pretty well for me, except for one thing. It wasn't really white. It says that it's a creamy white color. However, this one, and it could just be the one tomato that grew, it didn't really turn white. It was more like green the whole time and then started turning a blush color. So I'm not sure if that's what it's supposed to do, but the flavor was great. The flavor was really good. This is a free seed packet that I got from an Etsy company called Murray Seed Company, but these were a recent order, so I haven't grown any of this. This one right here is Lillian's yellow tomato. This is supposed to be an amazing tasting yellow tomato, a large beefsteak slicer. Haven't tried it yet, so any of the ones you see where it says Tim's Tomatoes, those are all new for me, and I've already started them, but they're going in the garden as soon as they get big enough. Dr. Witchy's yellow, and I might as well mention Kellogg's breakfast. This one and the Dr. Witchy's were interchangeable to me. I didn't really notice a huge taste difference, but they're both huge tomatoes. So both of these to me are interchangeable. However, I've heard that the Dr. Witchy's yellow, the flavor is really good for those. They're like a sweeter, not so much hardcore tomato intense, but if you like that sweeter flavor, these are kind of your thing. The brandy wines produced really well for me, and I live in Northwest Florida where it's really hot and humid, and I didn't have any problems. This is a potato leaf variety, and it really was resistant to disease, so I really like the brandy wines. I have the yellow, and then I have one other color. So those are my yellow tomatoes. Then I've got some Barry's Crazy Cherry. Barry's Crazy Cherry, oh my goodness. If you guys like cherry tomatoes, you like those smaller tomatoes, these are great. The skins are, I wouldn't say they're hard skins, but they don't crack easily, so they're really great for long-term storage, that kind of stuff. They lasted the longest out of all my cherry tomatoes, and they really do produce as much as the picture shows. They're sweeter, they've got a little bit of tartness, but they're very good. They're kind of like a tropical kind of tasting. They're really good. Then I bought something that is literally like pure sugar. This is the Heirloom version of that hybrid sun gold. So everybody's raving about the sun gold. I did grow sun gold last year, but I'm really big on heirloom tomatoes, and so I want a tomato with a story, and these are amazing because they're not a hybrid, they're an heirloom, so that means, and they're open pollinated, so I can keep saving the seeds for these. This is from M.I. Gardner. All of my stuff is either going to be from M.I. Gardner, Murray Seed Company on Etsy, The Crazy Tomato Lady, who's also on Etsy, Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, I believe was one, and then Victory Seeds. And then the only other seeds I may have are things I've saved from like Trader Joe's, or maybe a really good heirloom tomato or something like that. But M.I. Gardner is really good because he has great quality seeds and also free shipping if you get a certain amount. So I really like his company. And he's got a YouTube channel. Let's see. Ground cherries, pineapple cherry. So there's this kind, and then there's Aunt Molly's or Aunt Molly's. Now the Aunt Molly's has like no acidity taste whatsoever. It literally tastes like kettle corn to me. These right here are supposed to be a little bit more tart. So I'm gonna grow these. I tried these last year. They are ridiculous in how much they produce. You have to keep up with them every day. I'm sure these are the same. Any ground cherry, they're gonna fall to the ground. And if you're not on top of them, because I mean the plant produces a lot per plant, and they're short and squatty little things, but they will literally go to town for you. So if your thing is these pineapple cherries or ground cherries, just one plant I would say would be enough. But I mean, if you grow more than one, you have to keep up with it, and then if the little thing hits the ground and you let it sit there for long enough, it'll make another plant. So just keep that in mind. Moving on to the green tomatoes. I like green tomatoes. I'm just now getting into green yellows and oranges, but I was mostly a purple, black, and red kind of tomato girl. And whites, I've only ever had that one, so maybe you guys can let me know if there's another white one I should try. I've heard good things about the white Tom Sol, so I may try that one year. Aunt Ruby's German Green is a really good tomato. It's sweet. I had it last year, and my husband and I both really liked it. So it's a really big tomato, did really well in my area, and it gets really, like, the plant's like really sturdy. So I really like the Aunt Ruby's. I like a tomato who's sturdy and, you know, can handle this crazy climate. This is Green Giant. You know what I think? I feel like I just ordered that again. Let me see. This is a list of what I just ordered. Oh my gosh, yes, look at that. Number 5, Green Giant. So now I have 2 of them. Goodness gracious. Well, now I have 2 of them. Green Giant, it was really good. It was sweet and citrusy and kind of tropical tasting, but it did really well. And it didn't get as big as the picture says here, but I think a lot of reason for what happened last year to my tomatoes is I was a new gardener. I had just put my beds in. I don't think the soil was up to where I want it to be. This year, and there's my garden out there, this year all the beds have been just like amended maybe 2 or 3 more times. So I think the soil is much better quality, and I'm gonna get better, more robust tomatoes this year. And that just happens when you're a new gardener. You just have to keep, you know, get your soil. You just gotta keep working on your soil. Next is the green Cherokee tomato. I just wanted anything with the Cherokee tomato in it because my favorite tomato of all time is the purple Cherokee. So I figured, why not get all the ones that exist for the Cherokee? I don't know if there's any others. There's green, and I also have the chocolate. So I got this one, haven't tried it yet this year, but I love the Cherokee tomato varieties. This is the Green Zebra Giant. This is a cross between the Green Giant, I believe, and the Green Zebra. Let me see if I have it here. Yep. This is the Green Zebra, so these are like a saladette size. So they might have crossed this one with the Green Giant that's right there. But anyway, where'd he go? This is the Green Giant Zebra, and apparently it has the same flavor as the zebra tomato, so more of a tangier type of tomato, but it's a larger slicer. So I was interested in seeing what that tasted like. Evergreen Tasty Evergreen. This is supposed to be really good, like a super sweet, tropical, kind of pineapple-y flavored large slicer tomato. So I'm excited to try that. And now going to the smaller tomatoes. Have to show you my favorite small, I guess, cherry tomato of all time is this Green Doctor's. My goodness, I have to have this every year in my garden. It's so delicious. I'll go in there and just, I'm like asking the plant, are you ready? Are you gonna, it doesn't produce enough to keep up with me because I love how they taste. It's like eating little mini pineapples. They're so yummy. Then I showed you guys the Green Zebra. This is just like a tangier cherry tomato. And the color is really cool. I like having different colors if I ever have people over and I do like a tomato plate or something. And then the Rio Grande Verde Tomatillo. Tomatillos didn't do well for me last year, as in they were too small. But a lot of that I realized is because I didn't have a secondary plant. So what I ended up doing was I split off branches from or stems from the original and created more, but I don't know if that was the right thing to do. So this year I planted a couple. So I'm gonna see how they do having a different plant, you know, to cross-pollinate with, because that's what they need. They need that other plant. So anyways, gonna grow some tomatillos this year. And then the last one is this lime green salad tomato. And these are supposed to be super tart and yummy and very, very juicy. So these are like a little saladette size. I think I forgot to show you guys this, but this is just another tomatillo. I grew the purple ones last year, not the green ones. And the purple ones, again, they were just too small and they didn't look purple. They were like green. And the taste of them when they ripened up was really sweet. So I don't know if they had maybe crossed with a ground cherry. Not sure what happened there. And then we're gonna move on now to the orange tomatoes. So a true orange tomato has like a little darker hue. This one is new for me, but I heard that it was amazing. Very delicious, super sweet tomato. And I like sweet, and I also like some tartness and acidity in my tomato, but I really like the intense smoky like tomato flavors. But I heard that this is just really good. And then I've got the Amana orange and the Old German. The Old German was delicious. The Amana orange was good, but it wasn't like blow me away. Again, a lot of this could be due to the soil. So, you know, keep that in mind. If a tomato blew me away, even in the soil that I had, that's a dang good tomato. So the Old German did that for me. I didn't think it was gonna be orange. When I ordered this, I thought it was the German Johnson, but I got that corrected. Now I have the German Johnson, and that's a reddish, like I think it's a dark red tomato. This is more of an orange tomato, but it's really good. And both of these, they produced really large tomatoes. Now we're going to the orange that are smaller, and this is the only one I have, but oh my goodness, is this good. This is a fuzzy peach skinned tomato. It's so cute. It's the size that you see here, but maybe, let's see if I can, maybe like that big. So they're a good size to go in the garden and snack on them. And I just love that they have the fuzzy skin. They're sweet and they have that tropical flavor. So it is kind of like eating a fruit. I really like these. And then next I've got the bicolored. The bicolored tomatoes have to be one of the most interesting and yummy, like just fresh tasting tomatoes that I've ever had, especially the pineapples. You can see the first time I ever had it, I loved it so much, I had to save the seeds. I can show you guys what it looks like, but it's a very large slicer, and it's bicolored, it's beautiful. So it has all this marbling inside. I love tomatoes with like interest, that aesthetic, just a beautiful colored tomato. Imagine having that on a plate. It's very inviting. And then the big rainbow, same. It has all that beautiful marbling inside. Delicious tomato. I had somebody come to my house that, I don't know if they were huge on tomatoes, but they tried this and they loved it. They were like, man, that's a good tomato. So really good, both of those, pineapple and big rainbow. Now the gold medal, see that bicolor in there? That's really pretty. And the hillbilly. Both of these are just a little bit more of a tedious, more sensitive plant, a little pickier for my region. I think that they would do really well in like a further north climate, but in my garden, as the humidity went up and the heat went up, they just didn't do very well. The pink jazz is one that I grew last year, but I again didn't have the best soil, so I can't say a whole lot about it, but hopefully I'll get a chance to grow that again. Next is my favorite. Oh my goodness, besides the Cherokee Purple, this thing is like out of this world good. It's like a dark terracotta orange. It's not only is it a beautiful tomato, but it has all the flavors that you could ever want. It has the acidity, the sweetness, the intense, robust, smoky flavor. It's good. It's really good. I would highly recommend growing this, and it does grow in different sizes. For me, it grew in like medium size all the way to a very large, depending on the time of year that it was. So if it was really hot outside, it produced a little bit smaller, but still packed with flavor. And if it was a little bit cooler, like what the tomatoes like is a little bit 85 or below, between like 70 and 85, that's like their best. They love that. So anytime that it was around then, I had really big, robust, beautiful, juicy tomatoes. Great texture. I mean, everything about them is just delicious. And next, let's move over here to this chair. This is my red tomato collection. Let me get these out of here. These aren't really part of these were a gift somebody gave me. Right here, these are my slicers. So I've got triple crop, amazing producer, really great tasting tomatoes. Good red color. This was also a gift, so we're gonna move that over there. Emma Gardner's delicious tomato. First time growing this, I haven't got anything yet. This is still end of April. So actually, no, it's not, it's mid-April. Kind of almost at the end. Delicious tomato's supposed to be delicious. That's what I hear. So I planted it and I'm excited to see what it's like. Then I've got the mortgage lifter. Again, same thing. I haven't tried it yet. This is supposed to be a really cool heirloom that somebody whoever developed this tomato, they sold enough of them to pay off their mortgage. And this was, a while ago when mortgages were a lot less. But it's supposed to be a really big red beefsteak slicing tomato. Where did they go? It's hard to see in that intense sun. It's early in the morning right now, so I'm making this video first thing I wake up because today's gonna be a busy day. I've got peppers to plant and eggplants. That's another video coming up. Anyways, this is the German Johnson. The German Johnson's the one I thought was the German, I forgot what the other one was, that I ordered, that I ended up realizing it was the orange. But the German Johnson, oh my goodness, is this thing awesome. This to me was a replacement. One year I went up to North Carolina and I bought a bag of Cherokee Purples, and they were so good and they were so dark and they got smashed. Long story. But that happened and it was very heartbreaking. And so on my way home, I stopped at another local farm place and asked them if they had Cherokee Purples. They said they didn't, but they had this one, and this one was amazing. So I wasn't too disappointed after trying German Johnson. So I definitely ordered that, and I am growing it for the first time this year. The Abe Lincoln didn't do super well for me in my garden. Again, it could be a soil issue. We'll see. I might try to grow this again, but it's another really big slicer. Heirloom red TJs. This one is from Trader Joe's, so it's a seed that I saved. It was a really, really big, large, well, big is large. It's a really large slicer tomato, and it was great. I don't really know if because I've tried so many different colors, I don't know how I feel about just doing red, but this year I got into some reds, and mainly the reason is because I know people ask for that a lot. If I go to the farm stands and I try to sell my tomatoes, they're always asking me about those reds. And at first it was disappointing, but now I'm realizing, you know what, they just need to be introduced to the other ones and they'll realize what they're missing. But right now they don't, so I went ahead and complied and got a bunch of reds. The Atkinson tomato is a type of tomato that's more of an old-timey flavor. It has like a higher acidity with less sugar content. So if you like that classic tomato taste, this would be a really good one. And then the Arkansas Traveler, really, really good for this area. It's humidity resistant, disease resistant, and heat resistant. I guess you could say heat resistant, but it basically produces really well into the peak of summer and here in the humid climate. Because Arkansas and Northwest Florida, where I'm at near Alabama, it gets humid and hot in the summer, and this is kind of bred for this area. Now we're going to move on to the Saladette type sized reds. Campari, if you've ever seen these at Walmart, and then they're in the little I think there's like a little package. I'll show you. I've got some on my counter. So these are them. I bought some because we're still, like I said, we're still in spring. Tomatoes aren't really doing anything right now except for just growing the leaves, but they are really good size Saladette tomato. And man, are they juicy. They're juicy at all times, even into like the winter or I guess fall. Juicy and flavorful, little tiny bit of sweetness, more of that classic tomato flavor. So really good if you want to make sandwiches or, like I use them in tabbouleh and things like that, or you just want to eat them just with some salt. They're really good like that too. And now I have some Roma tomatoes. So I just grew these so that I can make some sauces and can next year, or I guess would be what, this year? Spoon tomatoes, this was a free seed, but look how cute that is. They're itty bitty and they fit into a spoon. So what I've heard about these is that they have a tougher skin and that they're really sweet. Now some people say they have some acidity, some people say they don't. So we'll see. I have just one plant out there in the garden this year. Moving on to, I already did these. What's going on here? Oh, I put them on top of the wrong pile. All right, let's move these back over here. Let's move on to my favorite category, which is the purple. Goodness, guys, I love purple tomatoes. And black too, but mostly like the purple. Oh my gosh, the anthocyanins in these tomatoes is so awesome. Anthocyanins is what enables these tomatoes to look dark like that. The longer they stay in the sun, the darker they get. The Paul Robeson, very famous tomato. Taste is incredible, out of this world. My experience with it is that my plants struggled last year in the areas that I put them. I didn't grow a lot of Paul Robeson, but I'm learning my garden and seeing what beds are suitable for tomatoes and which ones maybe for some reason or another aren't the best to plant tomatoes there. But I'm growing it again this year, and I got a whole bunch of plants because I'm not giving up. I heard this has just intense, robust, smoky, sweet, great flavor. So that's Paul Robeson. Carbon tomato. My goodness, I've never had it, but if people are comparing this to a Cherokee purple, I'm all in. So this is just like another Cherokee purple type tomato, but some people even said they like it more. And like I said, a lot of that, it has to do with your climate, it has to do with your soil, how the tomato produces. So I want to try to do a taste test, hopefully this year if they all come out really well, and just do a side-by-side comparison of the carbon, the Cherokee purple, and a whole bunch of purple tomatoes. So that's carbon. And then I've got a Dester tomato. Have never grown this, but heard it was amazing. Kind of that smoky, intense tomato thing going on, like a purpley pink. The Baronia I got from Victory Seed Company. It's the only one that I got from their company. This tomato is a dwarf tomato plant, and it's from the Dwarf Tomato Project started by Greg LaHoulier. And I can put that on the screen so you guys can kind of look him up. He's got YouTube channels and he does a lot of interviews, but basically he started a collab with a bunch of gardeners all over the world, and they tried to establish a dwarf tomato plant that produces large slicer tomatoes. And that's where you get Baronia and a whole bunch of others I'll show you here in a minute. But yeah, this plant only gets like 3 feet tall, but it can keep going. It's an indeterminate, but it grows at a slower rate. That's what I love about the tomato project, is that they're basically indeterminate, but they just, they grow slower, and so their fruit is larger. Baronia is supposed to be a purple Cherokee cross or something like that, so I'm very excited to try that. And then my beloved Cherokee purple tomato, and they're actually a darker purple than what the picture shows with green shoulders. It's a beautiful, beautiful fruit, and it's so good. It's intense and smoky, very robust, has that classic tomato flavor with some sweetness. I mean, there's just nothing about this that I don't like, and it even is good on its own. Like, you don't even need salt. You could just have it on a plate, or go in your garden and just snack on it. There's some more that I saved from, this is the ones that got squished, and I ended up saving the seeds. And basically now I have the seeds from whatever that tomato plant had produced, and they were so good. Purple Calabash has a cool backstory. I think it's this president, but Thomas Jefferson, I think was his favorite tomato. And this one looks like it would be like the Cherokee purple. It's got the purple and all that going on. It is smoky. It is on the intense side, but it is not a sweet tomato. It's supposed to be on the savory, like tart, zingy side. It's like the old-timey flavors of tomatoes. And this one I'm excited to grow just because it's unique. It's gonna have the flavors that I like from the Cherokee purple, but it's gonna be on the zingy side. So I'm excited to see what I think about these. It's also cool to know that it was a favorite of one of our presidents. Let's put these back over here. I don't have any small purple for that one. So we're gonna move on to blue. Technically these should be down here in this category because I don't have any large blue. So I've got blue cream berries. These were just really sweet. I mean, it's just how it sounds, a blue cream berry. think of a blue cream berry and whatever pops in your mind, that's kind of what they taste like. They're sweet, they're mad producers, they do really well. The bugs didn't seem to, you know, bother them. I mean, they got on them, those stink bug things, but they did great. And so I harvested all the time, even well into the fall with these. So these are really good. And then these are new, but I'm so excited to try something that looks like that. I mean, look, it looks like a little plum. It looks so good. But the reason I got them is because in reading the reviews, it said that these were of the tastiest and highest anthocyanins smaller cherry tomatoes. And they're not even that small. They're like a regular large cherry, but look at that color. So if they're as good as they say, which I'm really hoping and believing that they are, I'm excited to try them, and I love that color. Now let's move on to chocolate. I haven't tried any of these, I don't think. This one I tried to grow, but again, I don't know if I got if the seed in here wasn't quite right, because it didn't turn out this color at all. It was just small and red. There was no stripes for me. So I don't know what happened there, but I'm willing to keep trying. This one, the Tasmanian chocolate, is a dwarf variety. So again, a smaller plant, but creating big fruit. And I think that's just really cool. Apparently, they're really suited for areas that get really hot. They're gonna keep producing into the summer. So if you live in an area like that, look into getting a dwarf tomato. Look like Tasmanian chocolate, or what's the other one? Baronia is the other one I mentioned. So this one I heard great things about. It's like interchangeable with the Cherokee purple. Some people even said they liked it better. I'm excited to try something that can be that intense, that smoky and robust and sweet, and, you know, packs a punch in a smaller plant. I think that's really cool. All right, what's last? I have the chocolate Cherokee. Doesn't that just look amazing? I know that the purple Cherokee is amazing, so I'm gonna try the chocolate. I think it's gonna be great. Putting that there. Last ones are the black. The black tomatoes. I've had great black tomatoes and I've had okay black tomatoes. However, I can tell you the ones that I think are amazing. Black Prince, I'm not crazy about it. It has kind of a firmer texture, so not like super juicy or anything like that, but it is pretty. It's a black tomato, and they're kind of like a saladette, but bigger. They're in the beefsteak slicing category, but just not as big, but they're pretty. This is the Brandywine Black. This is delicious, just as much as that, I think it was the yellow one down there. But yeah, Brandywine is just amazing. So it's a really good beefsteak tomato, intense, robust flavors. The Brandywines do great for me in this region. They can withstand humidity, they can withstand heat. They do really well. So I'm getting turned to the Brandywines. Black Krim, oh my goodness, this was amazing. This tomato, at one point I harvested it and I was like, wait, what did I just harvest? Is this a Cherokee purple? This thing is so good. It's like amazing. You'll sit down with this because you're like, I have to sit down. I took my first bite and I thought, goodness, this thing is good. It is intense and smoky and sweet and robust, and the flavor knocks you out. I mean, it's out of this world. It's one of my favorite tomatoes. We'll grow it every year. Then I've got Black Beauty. I'm gonna try this again. They definitely turned the color of the picture, but I don't know that I don't know that I put it out as early as I should have, or I don't know that I had it in the best area, because even though it produced, the flavor never got to where I wanted it to, and I harvested it and I was like, you know, I think this is just not the right area. I think I needed to put it in a better bed with more nutrition. I think it would have done a lot better, because I've heard great things about it. And somebody even mentioned that this is just a really good, savory, like sweet tomato that has like almost a fennel thing going on. So if that's really true, then I want to try that. I don't want to be missing out. Then we've got this one that I'm so excited about. So remember the pineapple one I was telling you about, the kind of stripy one that I said was amazing? Well, this is the black variety. Apparently incredible, blow your mind, you know, out of this world flavor. So So if you know, think of all the things I mentioned before with the intense, smoky, sweet, all of that, that's what this has going on, and it's beautiful inside. It's like a greenish purple, red, it's got everything. So it's a really cool looking tomato too. So I'm excited to grow that one. And then I have the Black Russian tomato, again with the smoky, intense, beautiful flavors of tomatoes. So I really wanted to get this one because it had a lot of good reviews, and I'll try everything that, you know, has that intense, robust, smoky, sweet flavor. I will try them all. So I'm excited for that one. And then the last but not least are my small varieties of black tomatoes. Only have 2. My favorite of any cherry black tomato is the black cherry. If I'm gonna be eating a cherry tomato and someone says, here's a red cherry, I'll be like, you have any black cherry? Because once you try a black cherry, you're like, wait, red cherry, really? No, these are amazing. The fruit is big, like a big, large cherry fruit. And they're a dark, kind of like a darkish purple on top, and then on the bottom it's red. They're just beautiful, almost look like that, but the black strawberries that are underneath this packet are a little bit different. They have a mix of color, but these are just really good, really sweet. Always tasted good, no matter when I picked them, whether it was after a rain or not. I mean, they always tasted good. Then the black strawberry, I bought these because Baker Creek had them on the cover of their catalog and they looked so beautiful. I was like, I have to have this. Bought them, did not care for them. They are on the savory side. They didn't have any sweetness to them whatsoever, in my opinion. They were kind of mild also, so they weren't like tangy or anything like that. Now, I grew them in a couple different places with good soil. So what I grow my plants in is a mushroom compost, and sometimes I'll add like wood ash on the bottom, and I add like the tomato tone and stuff like that. I'm getting better about fertilizing this year, but I was not super impressed with this. They did great. They didn't have any cracks or flaws or anything like that, but the flavor just wasn't there for me. And the very last ones that I did not mention, forget number 5 because I already have that one, is the Rosella Purple, Virginia Sweets, Black Seaman, Lucky Cross, and the Kumato at Trader Joe's. The Kumatos are these brown, smaller saladette, but a little bit larger than a saladette tomatoes that I got from Trader Joe's, and they were amazing. They were so sweet and yummy, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try the seeds. I'm excited to have that in my garden this year. And then the Lucky Cross is a tomato I am really looking forward to trying this year in my garden. The backstory is that it was cross-pollinated by accident by a bee, and Craig LaHoulier, who had it in his garden, tried it, and he said it was so good. Apparently it was a cross between Brandywine and Lillian's Yellow. Sounds amazing. And then the Black Seaman's supposed to be a really dark black tomato. Very, very good and robust, intense, smoky flavored. The Virginia Sweet's supposed to be like a yellow with pink swirls in it, so a really beautiful tomato, but also very sweet and large slicer tomato. And last but not least is the Rosella Purple tomato. This is another dwarf variety from the Dwarf Tomato Project that I'm super excited to grow this year. The flavor is supposed to be out of this world. Again, a lot of people are comparing this to a Cherokee Purple, and some even prefer it, and I cannot wait to have this in my garden. And that is it. That is my tomato seed collection. Thank you guys again for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for the next one where I'm going to show you guys how my plants are doing, all my peppers and eggplants that I have planted, and basically how I tend to my garden in the springtime. I'm going to finish this video with a beautiful walk through the garden. As always, hope to see you next time, and be blessed. Bye.